Hi there, beautiful souls. Thank you for watching. I'm Gabrielle, retired medium in Germany, and I like to share some of my otherworldly experiences and insights. So, this one is about shadow work and angel encounters. When I was in the mediumship trainment, we did a lot of exercises in small groups with five or six, or just in two, with one other trainee sitting opposite, and we were trying a lot of things. So, one exercise is called shadow work, and it's a quite simple thing, but turned out to be difficult for me because our teachers told us just take a piece of paper, choose any one colleague to train with and do this exercise with, and then choose a difficult person from your life and write down in 10 or 15 minutes at least 20 positive traits about this person. And after that, you fold the paper, you don't look at it, you give it to the other trainee, and the other trainee is giving you hers or his paper, and you don't open it and look at it, you just take it and sense into it, because when we are in resistance with another person we might call a difficult person, there is a lot of energy blocked in the resistance, energy you cannot use for your own progress. So it's about freeing this energy that is blocked because you have some kind of negative attitude, or this person is so difficult that you don't know how to handle and how to deal with them. So, okay, I choose a person, quite difficult person, and I sat there and I could not find a single positive trait. I was just full of all these observations and experiences I had with that person, and it was more or less all, in my own point of view, kind of negative. And I didn't know how to solve this problem. And then suddenly, I think that was already inspiration. I got the idea, which I thought I could have never come up with that by myself. I suddenly had the idea, well, then just take this first negative thing, write it down, and try to make it at least positive by phrasing it differently, and leading it to at least a neutral or a positive statement about that difficult person. So the first thing I had in my head was this person was talking a lot, was just dumping every time the stories and problems about everything that happened in their life onto the other person that happened to be in front of them. And that was never a real talk. She was talking a lot without saying anything, just boom, dumping her problems. And that was the thing where I was kind of stopped, because I could never talk with that person kind of in a normal sense of conversation. So thinking about that she talks too much, I wrote that down without saying anything and tried to find at least something positive, or the contrary, or a neutral statement about that person. And then suddenly it dawned upon me, well, at least she is communicating, she's communicative. And that's kind of positive, or at least neutral. And so I wrote that down, and then I did the same with all the other negative things I had in my head about this person. And it took some time. I really needed 15 to 20 minutes for that exercise. But in the end, I really had 20 traits that I phrased differently and did some kind of inner work with that to find at least a neutral or a positive statement about that person. And I could sense the more traits I was writing down and phrasing differently to make it positive or at least neutral, I felt really some kind of energy getting freed in my systems, because suddenly I felt lighter and I felt more positive, even about that person. And then we finished that part of the exercise, and I gave the paper folded to my trainee colleague opposite from me, sitting there and waiting to perceive whatever is the freed energy from this kind of work we just did, the shadow work. And she took the paper and sensed into it, and then she said, "Oh, wow, I'm seeing an angel." There's a straight road that I see, and at the end there is an angel, the figure, and wings and everything. And it's glowing with white light. And I thought, oh, wow, an angel, never encountered one before. Um, and my freed energy makes it now possible that an angel is appearing on my kind of life path. Sounds good and wonderful. And then I asked her, can you sense or can you ask the angel and get the information who it is? And she said, it's Gabriel. Wow, okay. So I was wearing my little name sign, because with 50 or 60 persons in the workshop, you don't know them all, and if you want to talk someone, it's good to have the name and you can just read it. And we all had this little sign on our clothes, and she looked at my name, Gabriel, the German female form of Gabriel, and she just started laughing. And a short while before, we had this talk from our teachers in mediumship telling us, so please be grounded and stay grounded, because you can't expect that now you're suddenly talking to an archangel like Michael or Gabriel. They exactly chose these two. What a funny coincidence. And they said, take it as an analogy. These beings have a greater power, a much more energy than you. You can view them as some kind of power plant, and you surely cannot connect your little doorbell transformer to a power plant with thousands of volts. That's how many mediums get kind of a bit mad or crazy or not grounded, because they go off on that and, oh, an angel for me, now I'm special, I'm chosen. No, nothing like that. They're here for all of us, the angels. So I had this talk, but my name was Gabrielle, and I never liked my name. It's from the 50s. I was born in the year 1956. So it was kind of trendy at that time, but I always found this name kind of long and old-fashioned and kind of deep, something I didn't want to go there. So I more or less used the abbreviation of Gabby, which is shorter and more practical, and I never really went to the Gabrielle. I didn't want to because I had some kind of animosity with that name. And then suddenly it dawned upon me that in my name, Gabrielle, there is also the name of the Archangel Gabriel. And suddenly, by that idea or thought, I found, well, there's something positive about this name. And now I can walk with this name much easier. And I really started liking it. So that was that. And sometime later, I suddenly found myself again, in the theta state closely before falling asleep. This stream of consciousness I always have in front of my eyes, lots of images and like short videos and things like that. And I already stopped trying to understand all of that because a lot of the pictures does not make sense to me because maybe they're from another lifetime or whatever. So I suddenly found myself in a cave. And that cave was dimly lit, but the entrance was quite big. It was really kind of dome shaped. And in front of the entrance, I could see from inside there was a waterfall. So the light that was coming into the cave was kind of filtered by the water and had a different hue to it, kind of bluish or a little bit grayish. And this cave was really a giant dome shaped cave somewhere in, I don't know which place. I had the idea that it's inner Earth. And I know that inner Earth is real and exists because I've been there a few times and I'm going to tell you about that as well. And in that cave, I found myself kind of sitting on on a stone. To me, it seemed in the first moment like kind of a stone bench with a right rectangular angle where I was sitting on. And then suddenly I noticed that I'm sitting at the foot of a giant statue. It was, this kind of step before on which the foot of the statue started. So I was sitting on this step and then suddenly recognizing, wow, this is a giant statue. And I'm sitting at the foot of a statue that is more or less higher or double the size of a normal grown old tree. So might have been 30 to 40 meters. And then suddenly this statue started to move. It became alive. It wasn't stone like I thought in the first recognition. It suddenly slowly drew away the foot where I was sitting, and I had the impression, oh, it's aware of me and it's very carefully trying not to hurt me or to push me. And when I looked up, I recognized it was kind of the angel Gabriel coming or showing himself to me in that kind of statue first to not scare me or whatever, because of the size. Angels are really very, very big. That's always the first impression that I have is about their size. And he was looking down at me and smiling. And I really liked that because it felt very caring and loving. And since I had accepted my full name, Gabrielle, before, so there was some kind of connection now. And I even had some clients in QHHT hypnosis who did not tell me their real name because they had the same problem. They had a name given by their family and they didn't like it. So they made up their own name, or they choose some kind of abbreviation like I did with the Gabby before. And the funny thing was that the hypnosis session did not work out. And later on, I found out why. Because they did not identify or accept their true whole name. They choose another name which maybe have more to do with them as they thought, and they could like it more, and they used that name, but they were still in resistance with the other name, the original name they had. So if you split apart from you and you don't integrate that, so you can't use the power of the whole name, and you can't use all the energy that's hidden in there by the vocals and the sounds. And therefore it makes sense to me now that you can't get the real access to the subconscious or the higher self if you're not working with your real name. And I know from the Fey realm that they are very much about the real name, and only if they really trust you, they give you their real name, and it's kind of an obligation that you care for their real name and don't speak it out, abusing it, or doing something, calling them for nothing, something like that, you know. And you never tell this name to anyone else. It is only between you and this other being. Because in the old, how to put that, theory of demonology, many of the nature beings or elementals were also placed there, not rightfully, but well, it happens. And they say from the Catholic Church, more or less, if you know the name of a demon, then you have power over that being. Well, it's not quite like that, but it's the right direction. If you know the real name, you really have a different access to that being. So that is about my angel encounters and some other stuff like shadow work and real names. Thank you for watching. Have a great and blessed time. Thank you. Love and light to you on your path. Bye.